Good morning, guys. It is January 28th, 2022. It's about 5:45 in the morning. And today we're doing Genesis chapter 10, verse 8 through Genesis chapter 10, verse 12. We're still in the lineage, but we're going to look at a specific person today. And this specific person is going to point out a lot of stuff to us. So I'm going to start reading in chapter 10, verse 8. Cush was also the ancestor of Nimrod, who was the first heroic warrior on earth. Since he was the great hunter in the world, his name became parable. People would say, this man is like Nimrod, the greatest hunter in the world. He built his kingdom in the land of Babylonia and the cities of Babylon, Erech, Akkad, and Calneh. From there, he expanded his territory in Assyria, building the cities of Nineveh, Rabbath, and Klesh. In Racine, the great city located between Nineveh and Clay. I know I butchered kind of those city names, and I apologize. But if we look at this, we hear a lot of names, city names, and empire names that are really important in the Bible. Nineveh, Babylonia, Assyria, Babylon. All these places conquered Israel. And I say important, not good important, but important. And Nimrod himself was called the greatest hunter, the greatest warrior. And the greatest is not a good thing in this case. Nimrod was a cruel and evil tyrant. Let's just point blank put it that way. He conquered out of terror and fear. And these places did the same thing. If you think about Babylon, that's where Daniel, Shamrock, and, where they were. If you think about Nineveh, that's exactly where God sent Jonah, was to Nineveh. All these places conquered Israel. Nimrod was known as the greatest. Again, not a good thing. When they say hunter, they're not talking about animals. They're not talking about food. They're talking about people. He hunted and killed people. And you may be thinking, why does this guy get special attention when he's so bad? Well, here's my belief on why. God doesn't always show us the good. God doesn't only show us the good. He doesn't only show us the rainbow at the end of the story. He shows us the drunkenness of our sin. And that's exactly what this is. Remember, Nimrod is a descendant of Ham. What did Ham do? He ridiculed and mocked his father. And for that, he was cursed. So we talked about Canaan. We talked about Babylon. We talked about Assyria. And we're going to also, the other descendants of Ham, we're going to hear other places that have conquered Israel. If God only showed us the good, the beautiful, the wonderful parts of the story, and hid away the bad parts of the story, then we wouldn't get the full picture of his wonderful greatness and Jesus' sacrifice. Remember, if we remember back to the fall, even further than that, if we remember back to what God said, eating the fruit would cause. It caused death. Sin causes death. That's it. Sometimes it's physical death, killing another person. That's a great sin. You're taking another life, and we've seen in the text how important life is to God, how important human life is to Him. And He's showing us that great sin, like Nimrod, who caused sin by terrorizing and killing and hunting people to grow his empire, that's sin. Sin at its worst. If we're gonna put it in context. Murdering, killing. I mean, there was, I'm not gonna say probably, there was innocent children involved in this. There was all that stuff. The sin, the consequence of sin is death. And though the people he hunted may have not done this great sin, may not have killed other people, they were killed because of Nimrod's sin. Jesus came to forgive us of our sins, to take away our sins. Not that we don't still sin. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that, because we sin every day. But Jesus shows us how to walk in a way that is less sinful. Not because we're white-knuckling it and we're trying to obey 1,000 laws like we're going to see in later books like Leviticus. No, he's changing our hearts. Nimrod's heart was so cold and so hard that it probably didn't bother him. I can't say for sure, but if you're gonna build an empire on people's death and hunting people, I can pretty much say his heart was completely hardened. Now, if we think about other stories where we see an empire ruler's heart hardened to the point of where it's okay to take other human life, we think about Egypt. How the Pharaoh's heart was so hardened that not only did he take Israel as slaves, but then even when his own people were being plagued by locusts and death, he still would not let Israel go. The Israelites go. And that's the thing, is that we need to remember as we're going further into different stories in the Bible that God is not going to only show us the beauty of life. He's going to show us the darkness too, because that's what Jesus came to eliminate, is the darkness. And we can't know the gravity and the wonderfulness of what Jesus did for us if we can't see the dark. The darkness is all around us. It's everywhere. And we need to be the light. Jesus tells us to be the light in the darkness. As Christians, as followers of Jesus. Not followers of religion, but followers of Jesus, who went into the depths of the darkness and then rose again. These stories, I'll be honest, are probably going to be hard to hear. Some of these are going to be difficult to understand, but the whole Bible leads to Jesus. So when we see the darkness, like Nimrod, we know that the light is there. Jesus is there from the beginning, like John says. He was there in the beginning. He knew he needed to save us from the darkness. And he gave us the ability to call other people to him and be the light in the world, the light in the darkness. So I hope today you see the light of Jesus in your life, even if you're surrounded by darkness. Even if it feels like the darkness is coming and it's coming to get you and you don't know how you're going to get past it. Turn to Jesus. Tell Jesus the darkness. And he will be the light that's going to shine, and you're not going to be afraid because Jesus is going to be there. So I hope you guys see Jesus in everything you do today. And I hope that you see his promise even in the midst of chaos, even in the midst of a broken world. You see his light, and you can become his light for other people and tell them they don't have to be in the darkness. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.